Union, roaming, Poland, Brexit and the State of the Union. Mr. Verhofstadt, the floor is yours.
I don't think that there are other topics. He has made an enumeration of all the topics on the... First of all, we welcome very much the proposals made by the ministers of defense of France and Germany. And we hope that this French-German common proposal on a European Defence Union will be added to the Bratislava summit. We think that with the Brexit, with an expansionist Russia, and with also with what's happening in the US, the presidential elections, the European Union can no longer rely on others to provide its security in its neighborhood. And so I think it's absolutely necessary that the European Council now in Bratislava commit itself to the establishment of a European Defence Union. And in that respect, I asked to my people to give you the paper that we have made as group, has approved as group, on the European Defence Union. In the proposal that you have now on the table, in our proposal, we have a very concrete timetable and roadmap to establish this European Defence Union. And we use for that the Eurocorps as the nucleus of this European Defence Union. So what we want to do is to use the existing Eurocorps and to add to the Eurocorps the existing bilateral military cooperations that exist in the four corners of Europe. For example, between Belgium and the Netherlands, between the Netherlands and Germany, between Italy and France, for example, that are all bilateral military cooperation between Scandinavian countries. And what we propose is to use, to add these bilateral cooperations to the existing Eurocorps structure and to build up from there a European Defence Union with the budget, with an accountability to the European institutions, and also as a kind of a European pillar of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That's the key idea in this paper, and many of the ideas in our paper are also, you can find them back in the Franco-German proposal. The only big difference is that we are saying in our paper that let's start with the Eurocorps at the bilateral military corporations, and so not to talk about the European headquarters. When I see the word European headquarters, there is always a little smile that comes on my face, because that remembers me the chocolate summit of a number of years ago, where this European headquarters had been decided, but has never been activated because of the veto right that was given to the member states. So it exists, so it doesn't call European headquarters, it calls a European planification capacity. Then the second point on which I want to make a little comment is on roaming. We as Liberals are very pleased with the decision of the President of the Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, to withdraw the Commission's proposal, to limit free roaming to 90 days a year. In our point of view, it was a little bit giving someone a cake, with a disclaimer that you can only eat a quarter of it. So that is not what was in fact decided on free roaming. So what we have said to the Commission, I had the possibility to reiterate it yesterday with the President of the Commission, is that there is a fair close principle in the free roaming legislation, but let's first see if there is really a problem. So let's first start with free roaming. And if later on it seems that there is a need to use the fair close principle, okay, then the Commission can come forward with an implemented act, but not start with an implementing act and then, in fact, limiting free roaming. So instead of an ex ante use of the clause, maybe there can be an ex post use of the clause if there is a problem on the ground. But that's not the case today. So it's important that this proposal has been withdrawn and that the Commission is using this as an ex post guarantee and not as an ex ante limitation of the free roaming in Europe. Then the third comment that I want to make is on Poland. Today we will discuss the constitutional crisis in Poland, and we have worked the last weeks on a common resolution co-signed by 5 political groups, the PPE, the SND, the ALDE, the GUE and the Greens, in which we back with a big majority the European Commission initiative in the rule of law procedure towards Poland, and in which also a very broad majority in this House urged the Polish government to finally work on a compromise with the opposition in Poland, a compromise that would fully respect the Venice Commission opinion and the Commission recommendation. So I think it's critical now that there is a huge majority in this House backing this resolution, because this resolution helps the Commission to go forward in the rule of law procedure, and is finally, I think, the way forward we absolutely need. And then on a short comment on the Brexit file, to repeat what I already said last week, that it is naturally an honor to be appointed as Parliament's negotiator. The Parliament will have to give consent to the agreement, as stated in Article 50 of the treaty, and that is why it is wise that the Parliament is involved from the beginning of the negotiations. I believe also that the UK should trigger Article 50 as soon as possible, so that we can finalize these negotiations by 2019, because I cannot imagine that we start the next legislative cycle without agreement, and that we enter in a new legislative cycle with no solution. Then, furthermore, as you know, the position of the Parliament is very clear. Position has always been that if the UK wants to remain part of the single market, it will also have to accept the free movement of our citizens, because in the opinion of the Parliament, these 4 freedoms of the Union are inseparable. I think that we are not the only one who are saying that. Yesterday, the Prime Minister of Ireland repeated that principle, and for the Parliament it's a key principle that the 4 freedoms of the Union are inseparable. Then last point, but that's for tomorrow. Tomorrow it is the State of the Union. It will not be a surprise if I'm going to say tomorrow that the Union is not in a good state, and that many people fall in the trap of nationalists and populists just because they don't see a Europe that is capable to face the challenges of today. And so my intervention of tomorrow will be an intervention to try to explain what reforms we finally need to regain the trust and the confidence of these voters.
I think we have time for maybe 1-2 questions. Who would like to ask a question?
C'est Griselda Pastor de la radio espagnole. Il y a les débats à propos de la continuité de M. Schulz sur le poste. Les socialistes demandent que ce soit lui qui continue. Ils parlent de le partage et de la visibilité dans les institutions pour empêcher que le PP ait l'exclusivité. Quelle sera votre position dans ces débats?
On aura une première discussion au sein du groupe à Prague. On va donc pour une réunion du bureau pour justement préparer la deuxième partie de la législature. Et donc, on préparera ça. On n'a pas encore... je dois dire que les autres groupes sont très vite maintenant à parler déjà du 1er janvier de l'année prochaine. Moi, je suis plutôt... pour le moment en train de voir les dossiers de fond plutôt que la question personnelle.
The gentleman in the back.
Yes, German Public Radio, Sebastian Schobel. Is this EDU proposal the EU army that the British were always so afraid of, and are you introducing this now knowing that they're on their way out? And is this the timing for this now?
Well, I have to tell you that our paper was already published, I think in April, May, June. And that was before the Brexit vote. So it was before the Brexit vote. It was not. But it's clear that with what is happening in our neighbourhood, it's more influenced not by the Brexit decision. It's more influenced by what's happening in our neighbourhoods. Look to what's happening in Ukraine. Look what's happening in Syria, and it's more influenced by the clear opinion of expressed by President Obama in Hanover, where he said, look, it's over. We're going to not do what we did in the past. That is, every time we intervene without a European Union taking responsibility in the neighborhood. And he has given Libya as an example. He has also given this as a motivation why he didn't intervene in Syria. And so we have to take that in account. There is no longer the possibility for the Europeans to simply say, it's business for the US. That's very clear. So this European Defence Union, we need to pick it up again. It's not a new idea. And you know very well that in 1954, the French National Assembly voted against. And that was the reason why we don't have, because it was one of the first elements on the table in the 50s. That it was the initial idea to start with a European Defence Union in parallel with a political union. And it didn't succeed in the 50s. I'm very pleased that is now France and Germany together were coming forward with this. It's absolutely key, absolutely crucial that we go forward. It could also help a number of our financial problems. And you have to know that the expenditures, military expenditures of Europe compared to the US represent 42% of the American budget on defense. 42. You can say, it's only 42, but that's huge. 42% of the American military budget, that's an enormous amount. And we can only do today between 10 or 15% of the operations of the American army. What does it mean? I'm a lawyer, so I'm not so very good in mathematics, but at least I understand that it means if you spend 42% of the Americans, again, you can only do 10 or 15% of their operations, that you're 4 times less effective than the American military apparatus. That's the reality today. And why? Because we do 28 times the same thing. So it is also not only for military reasons, geopolitical reasons, but also for reasons of finance, an absolutely necessity to do this European Defence Union. and that independently from the Brexit discussion.
Bonjour, Stavros Samoulidis d'Athènes, de Sky Media. Je voudrais que vous nous développiez un peu sur votre rôle de représentant du Parlement européen pour le Brexit, les négociations. Quelles seront les lignes rouges de votre institution?
Si vous me le permettez, on est en train de préparer. Je suis en train de préparer ça. Je vais venir d'abord à la conférence des présidents et à la session plénière du Parlement pour présenter cela. Mais j'ai commencé à travailler là-dessus tout de suite. Pourquoi? Comme on doit donner le feu vert sur l'article 50. Comme on doit aussi approuver le nouveau statut qui sera négocié, il est clair que ce sera une bonne chose, comme j'ai déjà indiqué, que le Parlement serait impliqué dès le début. Et donc, le moment venu, le Parlement va s'exprimer naturellement sur le mandat de négociation, sur les lignes rouges et sur le projet de l'avenir.
Last question for Alistair from Reuters.
Mr. Verhofstadt, just something to touch on your personal experience. We're seeing an increasing number of people politicians in mid-career who find themselves former prime ministers of their countries or perhaps former presidents of the European Commission, yet maintain energy and youth on their side. What should they be doing? Do you have any recommendations for David Cameron or José Manuel Barroso?
I think they could do what I did, to go in European politics. They have some experience, so I think it's a good thing. So that former national leaders enter in European politics. Yeah, there's maybe not an answer for Barroso, but at least for David Cameron, it seems a good answer. Thank you.
Thank you all. The EPP is waiting. Have a good day.